Thanks for reading the Bible with me. I am working my way through the book of Luke and Acts, which is actually really one big book. And we're just reading a section at a time and then talking about it really briefly. My hope is that people who maybe wouldn't normally read the Bible because they feel like it's a little bit confusing or whatever will just read along like you've got a friend reading with you. And feel free to reach out to me if you ever have questions or whatever. I'm not a great theologian. I'm just somebody who's read the Bible a lot and I love it. And I found Jesus there. And I hope that if you haven't found him, you'll find him there. So let's just jump in. I'm reading Luke 21:37 to chapter 22, verse 6. I'm reading in the New Living Translation. Every day Jesus went to the temple to teach, and each evening he returned to spend the night on the Mount of Olives. The crowds gathered at the temple early each morning to hear him. The festival of unleavened bread, which is also called Passover, was approaching. The leading priests and teachers of religious law were plotting how to kill Jesus, but they were afraid of the people's reaction. Then Satan entered into Judas Iscariot, who was one of the 12 disciples, and he went to the leading priests and captains of the temple guard to discuss the best way to betray Jesus to them. They were delighted, and they promised to give him money. So he agreed and began looking for an opportunity to betray Jesus so they could arrest him when the crowds weren't around. So we've moved back into the narrative. It is about to get intense. Luke just wants to remind us of the scene. Jesus and his disciples spent their nights on a hill outside Jerusalem called the Mount of Olives. Presumably they were camping. The king, who was born in a stable and rode into Jerusalem on a donkey, slept on the ground. Every day they would go to the temple where Jesus would teach all day long to a crowd of people who came early and stayed late. I think Luke tells us this to explain why the chief priests, who so obviously wanted Jesus gone, didn't make their move sooner. The people loved Jesus. He was always surrounded. If the Jewish leaders arrested him in the temple, they were likely to start a riot, and it was unlikely to end well for them. They had to find a time when he was vulnerable. So it follows that they were delighted when Judas succumbed to Satan's temptation and turned against Jesus. Judas offered to find an opportune time for them to arrest him quietly. More than once, Judas appeared to be more interested in money than in Jesus, and on this day, he solidified his allegiance. So next time we're going to talk about the Last Supper. Chat soon.